When modern Air Force video enhancement technology shed light on the events that transpired during Operation Anaconda in Afghanistan, Master Sergeant John Chapman's story became more heroic than initially thought. After volunteering to join a Navy SEALs unit for an extraction mission, Chapman protected his team and continually exposed himself to enemy fire, becoming seriously injured. He was posthumously decorated with the Air Force Cross. 14 years after his brave actions, uncovered amplified footage revealed a different narrative. Images that showed his impressive aggressiveness towards the enemy and the dedication to the service of his country. Rescuing Officer Roberts. During Operation Anaconda in 2002, members of the U.S. Navy SEALs attempted to surround and destroy a large Al-Qaeda unit in the Shahikat Valley and Arma Mountains. On March 4th, an MH-47E Chinook, call sign Razor 3, came under enemy fire. As the pilot struggled to maneuver the helicopter and abort the landing, Navy SEAL Petty Officer First Class Neil C. Roberts fell into the snowy Tucker Gar Mountain. The Chinook was too damaged to return to the mountain, so the pilot crash-landed at the north end of the hill, 4.5 miles away from where Officer Roberts had fallen. The second helicopter picked the team up and carried them back to safety. Aware that the enemy would not spare their comrade if they captured him, 6 Mako 30 members volunteered to rescue Roberts from the enemy stronghold. The men boarded another Special Operations helicopter and flew back to Tucker Gar. As the brave volunteers touched down in the peak shortly before 5 a.m., Senior Chief Petty Officer Britt Slabinski jumped off first and stumbled as he fell onto the snow. He would recount years later, quote, "I just knew at the time that that was going to be the last thing I did on this earth. I was convinced of it." The second man to jump was Sergeant John A. Chapman, a combat controller from the U.S. Air Force's 24th Special Tactics Squadron, or STS. Chapman was the only man aboard the helicopter who was not a member of the United States Navy SEALs. The team immediately came under fire from 3 different directions. Chapman charged forward and attacked 2 enemy soldiers without hesitation, then advanced towards a defensive fighting position, taking cover in a nearby bunker. 20 minutes after the rest of the team was able to move, the unit's members witnessed Chapman seemingly succumbing to his wounds. Sergeant Chapman's immediate engagement, the destruction of the first enemy position, and the subsequent advancement to the second under enemy fire allowed the rest of his team to take cover and break enemy contact. Assuming that Chapman had fallen and taking advantage of a ceasefire, Slabinski ordered his SEAL team to pull out of the area. The Battle of Tucker Gar is also known as the Battle of Roberts Ridge, in honor of the conflict's first casualty, Navy SEAL Neil C. Roberts. Sergeant Chapman was credited with saving the entire volunteer rescue team's lives. Because of his heroic actions on March 4th, he was posthumously awarded the Air Force Cross. New technology, new information. In 2016, new imagery technology allowed for a more in-depth analysis of his actions during the Battle of Tucker Gar. This unique Air Force image refining software enhanced the video by assigning each person a pixel signature based on the men's size, weapons, and movements. The technology identified Sergeant Chapman jumping from the helicopter along with the other SEALs and continued to track each of their movements. The video showed Chapman as he moved around the mountain and followed him even as he walked under trees or other obstacles. After analysts examined the video, a fuller version of the story surfaced. Although Chapman was merely numbed when his squad believed he was down, he eventually regained consciousness. Chapman then crawled inside one of the bunkers at around 5 a.m. to seek cover. About an hour later, while suffering from shock and fatal injuries, the sergeant gave an impressive fight for his life. When 2 enemy fighters fired a rocket-powered grenade towards him, Chapman attacked them with his rifle. Minutes later, another Al-Qaeda soldier attempted to crawl towards the sergeant's position, and they engaged in hand-to-hand combat. As the sun began to rise, Chapman heard air relief approaching. He attempted to climb away from the bunker to provide cover for the upcoming unit, but received a fatal strike with machine gun fire. Because of his actions, the QRF helicopter was able to secure the mountaintop. The video showed that a wounded Chapman fought for his life for an entire hour, which was unknown until then. The low-quality drone footage clearly followed a man in a bunker defending himself against two others, eventually hitting one with a rifle shot. The Predator feed was later paired with video taken from the C-130, offering a clearer picture of what really transpired. With this newly uncovered information, Air Force Secretary Deborah Lee James and several top brass campaigned for Chapman to be rewarded with the Medal of Honor, the American military's highest decoration. Closure at last. In March of 2018, Sergeant Chapman's family was notified that his Air Force Cross would be upgraded to the Medal of Honor. The ceremony took place in August, and his citation read, quote, "By his heroic actions and extraordinary valor, sacrificing his life for the lives of his teammates, Technical Sergeant Chapman upheld the highest traditions of military service and reflected great credit upon himself and the U.S. Air Force." The next day, Chapman was also inducted into the Hall of Heroes in a ceremony hosted by the Pentagon. He was posthumously promoted to Master Sergeant. Chapman's brave actions during Operation Anaconda were recorded from multiple angles. After more than 3,500 honorees, it was the first time as far back as 1862 that the Medal of Honor could rely on technology rather than eyewitness accounts, giving Sergeant Chapman his due.